Do you have either a part of Tennessee's football team, players that you would single out that you are most interested to see? Quarterback would be an obvious one, but what you're looking forward to seeing from Tennessee in the opener against Syracuse?
Receivers. I think that, and of course that works hand in hand with the quarterback. So those are the two positions I think Tennessee's just got the biggest question marks on, the greatest unknowns with, and those are the two spots I'm really intrigued to see Saturday. How does Tennessee play pitch and catch against Syracuse?
Red zone offense for Tennessee, that was a question last year. Also, there were a couple of halves where Tennessee didn't score. Do you feel confident that Tennessee will be able to answer in the red zone? If so, why?
I don't feel confident because I don't know, and I don't think anybody does. Again, you got a lot of new faces on the offensive line, new faces at running back, new faces at quarterback, new faces at receiver. You have new faces on the offensive coaching staff with a guy like Seth Luttrell now involved, with helping things. So I just don't know. I wish I could say, yes, they're going to be better. But I don't know. I don't know that they'll be better. I don't know that they'll be worse. I don't know that they'll be the same. I think much like what we're talking about with the quarterbacks and receivers, the unknowns of it all will play itself out, and you'll find out is Tennessee going to be better as a red zone team than they have been the last couple of years.
If you're Josh Heupel, do you start Boo Carter at punt returner?
Yes, I do think I would start him at punt returner. It throws Boo a bone. If you feel like he's done what is necessary to be available in this game defensively, then I would make him my punt returner. One, I don't think I want to put somebody back there that's not done it before in a game in a dome with the ball at the ceiling and all that stuff. I would want it to be Boo Carter. If he's done enough to be available for defense, he's done enough to be the starting punt returner, which is what he was a year ago. So, yes, I know he will not start on defense, but I would make him my starting punt return guy. And then add into the fact that a lot of the players outside of DeJuan Morris that have worked back there are at positions like safety and or wide receiver where you're pretty thin. I don't think Tennessee can afford to play those top players in special teams back there like that because they need them for their side of the ball. So, thus, I would make Boo Carter my starting punt returner.
I agree.
Austin Price, Volquest.com is with us. Any health questions to pay attention to for Tennessee heading into the opener?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, I think we all know about David Hobbs. We know about a few of the others. But, I think Tennessee's a fairly healthy football team. And if they're not, then they're keeping a few under wraps here. But it certainly feels like Tennessee's a fairly healthy football team heading into this when it comes to the players that you would deem to be the starters on this football team.
Who needs a fast start the most, Syracuse or Tennessee?
Both. I mean, behind. Syracuse can't afford to play from behind, but I think for Tennessee, if you get off to a fast start and you do so with your tempo and you're out there doing some different things and throwing some different wrinkles and you're playing fast and you're playing it 2nd and 2 instead of 2nd and 9, and you have Syracuse on their heels a little bit, I think that's a chance to have a big early momentum shift for Tennessee. I still would say both because I think, neither one can afford to really fall behind. But if you said which team can come back from falling behind, I would probably tell you it's Tennessee just because I think defensively they can make enough adjustments. Based off last year alone, Syracuse defense will have to be really, really better to think that this team's not going to give up yards and points.
Austin Price, Volquest.com, here with us on Josh and Swain. Joel Klatt, we know him. He has some comments about Tennessee and Tennessee's offense. We've heard the narrative about the offense and preparing guys for the next level, but it seems not to affect Tennessee on the recruiting trail because you added a 5-star athlete that's going to play receiver already, and Tennessee's in position to possibly get Tristan Keys if he decides to flip from LSU. What is Tennessee selling to combat some of the negative recruiting that's going out there about that position?
They're selling that, they've had several players drafted on both sides of the ball, but specifically offensively. You've got Dylan Sampson made the 53-man roster. You got, a number of guys, Cedric Tillman, Jalen Hyatt, Joe Milton, Darnell Wright, Cade Mays. You've had several that on the offensive side of the ball, Dante Thornton in this past year's class. make 53-man rosters that were all players under Josh Heupel during his tenure here. If it's such a high school offense, does that mean that the defenses that were giving up 45 and 50 points were middle school defenses? I mean, listen, the narrative that people try to create and craft is the narrative that a lot of people try to create and craft. But, Joel Klatt's also someone who is kind of like Danny Cannell. Anytime he can take a shot at an SEC school, he's going to do so. And to think that the whole Nico thing didn't have to do with money is just silly to me. Nico's at UCLA because Nico could not find another place to take him. Like, they tried to go to Oregon. They contacted Oregon. They contacted several schools, and nobody was willing to pay that price point for Nico or put up with some of the stuff off the field. And so, listen, that's a divorce that just happens. Sometimes people that get married don't end up staying married, and you just wish, that's what Josh Heupel did. I loved how he tried to craft the narrative that Tennessee got to put out the propaganda machine. And Josh Heupel took the high road with Nico. I mean, he took the high road at the spring game. All of those players, Miles Kitzman wanted to go scorched earth. He was talked out of it, took the high road on Nico. And because at the end of the day, I think most, players understood that, it wasn't necessarily Nico making the decision. So, it is what it is. It's sad we have to get into these kind of comments and debates, about things and a lot of these national guys, they know 20% of the story, and then they try to use their national voice to make it more of a thing. And, in this case, I think it's a bunch of nothing.
Hey, Austin, before you go, by the way, the player that was mentioned there, what's the latest? Tristan Keys, the watch with the 5-star wide receiver who's committed to LSU, but Tennessee continues to pursue.
Yeah, Tennessee continues to have good dialogue with Tristan Keys. He's still committed to LSU, so until that changes, he's still an LSU Tiger commit. And, I think if you're looking at – I said this on our board a couple nights ago, if you're looking at a timeline, if he doesn't do anything before his high school season starts, which is Friday, then you're looking a couple months down the line. I think he'll take several visits and so on and so forth. But, again, he's not indicated to anyone that he's going to do something publicly. And so I think a lot of this just boils down to, can Tennessee do enough to, get that one across the finish line, or does he have pause? Does he stay committed to LSU? Does he decide to take visits once the season starts?
Volquest.com, they have it for you. Read them, see them, listen to them. Austin, thank you for the time as always, and we'll look forward to talking about a game that will have happened next week.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.